It has been 14 long years since the last time Dragon Ball fans have gotten to open up the toy box and play a proper Dragon Ball arena fighter. It's hilarious how if any other anime franchise gets an arena fighter, the misery is palpable in the air. Hey, My Hero Macadamia fans! You have a new game coming out! Ah, sweet! It's an arena fighter! I think I'm really gonna do it this time! Dragon Ball is the only franchise that gets away with doing arena fighters. And worse yet, the fans love them. People not in the know turn their noses up and say, you seriously want a game with 20 different Gokus and 15 different Vegetas? Yes! That's the way we know they care if they make a game and try to claim these are two different characters. Since Raging Blast 2 in 2010, we've had action RPGs, 3v3 fighters, mobile games. We had a Dead by Daylight before we got another arena fighter. But finally, the wait is over. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has been released and is everything I could have ever asked for. The roster is absolutely ginormous, with every character a Dragon Ball fan could ever ask for. Except for most original Dragon Ball characters, but most Dragon Ball fans haven't read the original Dragon Ball, so they're probably not gonna notice. Fighting in this game reaches that same sweet spot that it did in the previous games, and is simple enough that a child could breeze through it after glancing at the tutorial, while still having tons of depth to keep people coming back to master the systems. The addition of online has pushed people even further to find the best characters, combos, and ways to piss each other off. They had to nerf Yajirobe. The game is absolutely beautiful, from its environments, to its models, to the effects on attacks. It makes you want to try each and every character just to see how much work went into them. When the game was launching and they announced Bergamo was in it, I was already happy, since it meant they were carrying on the tradition of including characters nobody wanted. But he has some really cool looking attacks, and I ended up really enjoying playing as him. I do feel like the game is really starved for single player content outside of free battles, custom battles, and tournaments. Sim Dragon from Budokai Tenkaichi 3 would be an incredible addition to the game, since that was a roguelike mode for a fighting game all the way back in 2007, and that would keep me coming back for a really long time. Custom battles as well are really cool, but the tools to make them are extremely cumbersome. Look at this list of names. You can't sort this alphabetically. You can't sort this at all! How the hell am I supposed to find Piccolo in this mess? I have had some fun making my own custom stories, but making them feels like pulling teeth. Those negatives aside though, I have to say I couldn't be happier with Sparking Zero. I was always going to be nice to it because of how much I wanted this game, but it truly met and exceeded my expectations. I love it. The final mode I haven't gone over yet though is the story mode. Dragon Ball story modes are a redundancy at this point. Every game includes one, and they never change. Goku and Piccolo go to fight Raditz, and Goku gets killed by the special Huh? More than the roster, more than the graphics, more than the combat, what got me the most excited for Sparking Zero was the what-if stories. Dragon Ball games have always been home to insane what-ifs, but now they were weaving them into the story mode itself and including way more. Each of the 8 selectable characters would get a whole bunch of different what-ifs that show off how their stories could have changed if even minor things were different. After seeing which 8 characters had been picked as well, I was even more excited, without their picks like Frieza, Goku Black, and Jiren getting me really interested as to how their stories could change. However, some characters clearly got a bit more love put into their hypotheticals than others, which is what I want to look at. Today, we're going to rank each of the 8 characters in story mode based on how good their what-if stories are. Now, keep in mind that I'm judging these cumulatively, rather than ranking each instance of a what-if. So it's all of Gohan's what-ifs versus all of Vegeta's what-ifs. I can't bear to rank what if Goku beat up Jace before Berta as the worst one. It would break my heart. Coming Coming in at a space below dead last. Like next spot is the bottom of the barrel, this is the dirt under the barrel, is Goku Black. So when Goku Black was confirmed as one of the characters getting a story mode, I was floored. This guy is an absolute nightmare of time traveling, alternate dimensions, and clones. He's gotta have the best what-if stories of the bunch. You open up the world for Goku Black and Zamasu to terrorize, and you've got infinite possibilities. What if they go back in time to the Cell Saga and try to kill Trunks before he ever gets the time machine? What if they decide to start attacking other timelines to fight movie characters like Broly and Turles? What if Super Shenron was a Mr. Satan mark and swapped Zamasu and Hercule's bodies to give us Mr. Satan Black? I really want to see that one. With a character like Black, you can really do anything. Which made the resulting experience all the bigger a disappointment. Goku Black doesn't just have a bad story mode, he infects everybody else's story mode who has to interact with him. Goku and Trunks' campaigns are both at their worst when they have to fight Goku Black, because the Goku Black saga has a very small amount of possible enemies to fight. In either of those sagas, you're just cycling through fights with Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and Vegito versus Zamasu, Goku Black, Merged Zamasu, and Corrupted Merged Zamasu. You may have noticed all 4 of those people are Zamasu. Goku Black's story mode does nothing to change this, as it just flips which side you're on, as now you have to fight against Goku and the gang with no changes. So what is the actual what-if story of the Goku Black campaign? Well, it starts how plenty of them do, with you winning a fight you weren't intended to. In this case, when Goku Black is supposed to beat Goku and Vegeta while Trunks fights Zamasu, you instead beat Goku and Vegeta. Okay, so the start of the what-if might be the same as canon, but just wait. Then Zamasu and Black team up to fight Goku and Vegeta, and they win. Then they fight Vegito and Trunks, and they win. Then they fight Goku and Vegeta, and they win. This ends with Goku and Vegeta being killed, and Zamasu and Black are able to complete the Zero Mortals plan. That's the entire what if. What if Goku Black and Zamasu just didn't let up and beat the shit out of the heroes? Any other villain like Frieza would have had this as an alternate ending separate from their main storyline, or what if. But for Goku Black, that's all he gets. Instead, Goku Black has, I'm not joking, the exact same mini alternate ending twice, depending on if you're in the canon storyline or the what if one. The only change is who he stabs first. Goku Black is a character who has limitless potential for cool stories, and they managed to squander every possible chance they could to do something interesting with it. The what if is saved from being total garbage by the fact it at least proposes some unique ideas, even if it doesn't really do anything with them. In the biggest change before the final battle, Goku Black refuses to merge with Zamasu, and it seems he's getting cocky and believes merged Zamasu won't be necessary to take out the heroes. Then, in the fight against Vegito in this route, Zamasu snaps at Black and tells him it's time to merge or they're gonna be in trouble. In the heat of the moment, Zamasu even calls him Zamasu, which obviously annoys Goku Black. I really like the idea that Goku Black is starting to change and behave more like Goku the longer he's in Goku's body, until eventually he starts to get hungry for battle like Goku is. And that would start to rub Zamasu the wrong way, as he sees himself being infected with the sins of mortality. Then you can even end out the story mode with a fight between the two, as they realize this timeline isn't big enough for the two of them. If you really want to push the limits, you can have Goku Black beat Zamasu into submission before taking off his earring and forcing Zamasu to fuse with him, before entering the Tournament of Power as a single competitor, representing the efficiency of the Zero Mortals plan. Have him use the tournament as a stage to showcase to all of the Destroyers, the Grand Minister, and Zeno that the strongest universe is the one with no mortals. I know there's a couple galaxies worth of differences between proposing this idea and actually executing it, but if you're gonna go through the trouble of adding Goku Black, work with what makes Goku Black special. You have the chance to go anywhere in the Dragon Ball timeline with their time travel. You have a whole multiverse of different timelines to go and fight in. But instead, it just plays the Goku Black Saga twice in a row with no differences. Right now, I'd say Goku Black's what-ifs aren't just the worst in the game, I'd say his whole campaign is the worst part of Sparking Zero. You're stuck in a loop of the same fights over and over and over again, never changing, never improving, just a chore from beginning to end. The only positive is they can only get better from here. And trust me, it's already getting better. Number 7 is unfortunate, because I think it'll give people the wrong idea about a character I'm a big fan of. Unfortunately though, given the fact he has so little to work with, he has to be here on virtue of everybody else just having more to work with. What they do choose to give him, though, is enough for me to think they did a decent job with his what-if. That what-if is for the pride of the Pride Troopers, Jiren. Initially, I was like a lot of people and hated Jiren, because he's big, he's tough, and he doesn't say much. But my perspective on him shifted a lot when I read a comment that explained Jiren as having learned the same lesson as Goku, but taking it in a different way. They both learned that friends give them strength, but where Goku realized that meant he can become stronger with the help of his friends, Jiren took it as, your friends are all that make you strong. Jiren has the lived experience to justify a mindset like that. He had a group of friends that he could rely on, but they turned on him and left him for dead. He was powerless to do anything, and that's why he's obsessed with never being helpless again. This caused him to retreat inwards and treat friendship and compassion as openings that can be exploited, and why he sought to improve himself and himself alone. However, this isn't about Jiren's character, rather what could have been. And it's already earning points by having the absolute easiest conditions out of the entire game. Other campaigns like Frieza and Goku will need you to play beyond perfect to get to the what-ifs. Jiren, meanwhile, just gives you the option to follow the canon or what-if path as your first option. In the Tournament of Power, when Kale is rampaging in her Berserk form, Jiren normally steps in and puts a stop to it. But what would happen if Jiren didn't step in? Well, that leaves Goku to clean up the mess. But since that's a tall order, he gets 17 and 18 to help. Now that they're by his side, he tackles Jiren with more confidence, only to get beaten down as per usual. He's able to tap into Ultra Instinct, but not for very long, and the two separate. Then the story starts to get really interesting when the next character to fight is Master Roshi. This fight actually does take place in the main storyline, but only in the manga. Here, they choose to expand upon it more and make this the moment Belmont reveals Jiren's backstory. Oh, Jiren's backstory is just Batman! Yeah, and Goku's is just Superman. Having Roshi be the character to fight Jiren while this is happening, I think, is a genius move. Letting Master Roshi give his own insight as a martial arts master to Jiren, who lost his and failed to understand his teachings to the fullest. From here, the storyline dips back into the canonical path. Except now that Roshi has talked to Jiren and uncovered more of his personal story, Jiren's able to push past his past and actually defeat Goku and the others to win the tournament. Now that he has the experience of seeing Universe 7's bonds for himself, though, he resolves to bring back the erased universes in the hopes of fighting Goku again one day. Now, like I said, this storyline is very simple, since the tournament setting only allows Jiren to fight so many different opponents in one stadium. But just like Jiren himself, I think the simplicity actually works in his favor. I think this is a perfectly fine story to tell with Jiren as your central character, letting his layers of roughness be shed moment by moment as he experiences the bonds that Universe 7 has made. Maybe a fight with some combos like Piccolo and Gohan or 18 and Krillin would have driven the point home further, but as it is, I like this what-if. I think unlike the Goku Black one, it tackles Jiren's character in ways that make sense. using characters he would have never met in any other circumstances. The actual actions of the What If aren't interesting. What if Jiren just fought a bunch of people from Universe 7? But if you were going to tell the Tournament of Power from Jiren's perspective, this is a good way to do it. Now, if we want to get crazy with the What If, I'm saying what if Jiren sought to become strong like Goku in the literal sense? What if he wanted to find the source of Goku's strength and work through the trauma of having his master killed at the same time? What if Jiren enrolled as a student under Master Roshi? I will pay any amount of money to see Jiren in the Turtle Hermit Gi, carrying around milk crates and fetching porno mags. I want him to start at the absolute bottom rung Goku did back in the original Dragon Ball. I hate that I have to put him so low. It's Piccolo. Everyone loves Piccolo. You don't get a generation of kids begging you to be their dad without doing something right. And it's not like Piccolo is at any loss for interesting what-ifs. What if he managed to kill Goku at the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai? What if Piccolo didn't raise Gohan? What if Piccolo did anything in the Buu saga except punch his ticket to hell by telling Buu to kill all the humans on Earth? For Sparking Zero, they reasonably decided to end off Piccolo's campaign at the Cell saga, but at least gave us a pretty good what-if story out of it. Yeah, let me say this, Goku Black's what-if is the only one in the game I out-and-out don't like. Jiren's, I think, is hampered a bit by the lack of material to work with, but after Black's, I like every what-if. It's just about how much I liked it. Piccolo gets the award for my favorite beginning to a what-if in the game, though, simply because of how innocuous the decision itself is, and how much it ripples throughout the timeline. When Goku fights Android 19, Piccolo notices that he's suffering from the heart virus. And instead of sitting on the sidelines as Goku gets his energy drained, Piccolo instead steps up and tags in to fight 19. Since Piccolo takes out Android 19, Vegeta doesn't waste the energy fighting him and is in better condition for the fight with 17 and 18. With Piccolo's leadership and a Gohan interference, the fight isn't a total wash like it was in the original story, and gets Piccolo to recognize that Gohan still has way more potential to draw out. It's then that a still sick Goku abdicates the chance to go into the hyperbolic time chamber with Gohan and asks Piccolo to go in his place. Once the two get into the chamber, you actually get a second option, which I think is purely cosmetic, but it's the choice to either train Gohan's body or his mind. I went for his mind, and Piccolo tells Gohan how important it is to control his anger and not let it overtake him. The two train, Gohan achieves Super Saiyan, and the Cell games begin with Piccolo stepping up to fight first. Even with the main character buff, Piccolo beating Cell is a pipe dream, and he gets stomped. And this is what triggers Gohan to go Super Saiyan 2 instead of the death of a guy he met 10 minutes ago. From here, I do start to get a bit disappointed as Piccolo manages to calm Gohan down, but instead of finishing off Cell and saving Goku, now the indignation of being offered mercy makes Cell go nuts and attack Gohan. And we're back on the canon path. The only difference is that Piccolo holds off Cell for a little bit after he beats down Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. And I get the chance to miss the Hellzone grenade about 4 times before I actually hit it. Why is this always the worst super in any game it's in? In fact, why is End Piccolo so much worse than early Piccolo in this game? False Courage is a Blast 1? Are you out of your f***ing mind? Anyway, the what if ends out with the Kamehameha clash, except instead of Vegeta, Piccolo is the one who fires the shot that cripples Cell long enough for Gohan to overpower him. I really want to enjoy this one more than I did. Any story that explores the relationship between Piccolo and Gohan is one I like, but frankly, this one drops the ball way too hard at the finish line. I think Gohan beating Cell early with Piccolo's guidance would have been a nice capstone, instead of just a flat rerun of the ending of the Cell saga, with Piccolo swapped in for a more important role. I think what really dampens my mood on this one is that it's a what-if about Piccolo, where Piccolo doesn't really get to shine as the main fighter. It ends up feeling more like a Gohan what-if than a Piccolo what-if. Trust me, he's not hard up for good ones. Oh, and as for the what if, Majin Piccolo. It's Majin Piccolo. Everybody wants Majin Piccolo. Oh, it doesn't line up with his character development. He doesn't have any more evil in his heart. He's a good guy. Boo, thumbs down. That's why the babes don't want you, bro. It's because you don't know what they want. They want Majin Piccolo. Coming in fifth, and this is a story like Piccolo's, where the setup is amazing, but the payoff just misses a little something. And in this case, it's more for the sake of a gimmick than anything. Frieza was the character I was most interested in when it came to his what-if story. And while the one I really wanted ended up not making it in, he still does have a few good ones. That's right, a few good ones, because Frieza is our first character to have more than one sparking episode. Now, neither exactly lead to a storyline the length of Piccolo's or even Goku Black's, but each one is interesting enough. The first encounter comes on Namek in the fight with Super Saiyan Goku. If you beat him before you're forced to go 100%, you'll get a new cutscene of the clash between the two, with Frieza coming out on top. Plenty of characters have these sorts of scenarios as alternate endings, but rarely do they get animated in the motion capture sparking episode style. I love the internal monologue Frieza gets as he remembers Goku calling him out for being a coward, all before giving himself the motivation he needs, remembering how much he hates Saiyans.
No matter the cost, I'm going to kill you! Okay!
Not many people's power-up yell is a racial slur. After Goku's defeat, Frieza's free to rule the universe, content without immortality as he killed the one thing that could have stood a chance against him. Though the struggle he had against Goku still stays in the back of his mind, pushing him to get stronger and begin training. It only took him 4 months of training to become Golden Frieza and challenge gods, so heavens know what's gonna happen with this much time. Maybe Black Frieza, whatever the hell that is. While this what if does stop before it could have gotten really interesting, what if Frieza invaded Earth during the Cell Saga with the androids running around, not many games propose a scenario where Frieza wins, and even less go into the ramifications of that. Frieza's second what-if comes all the way in the Resurrection F Saga, where you have to take on one of the hardest fights in the whole game to get the branching path. You have to beat Goku and Vegeta so fast it's ludicrous. In order to beat them before your stamina runs out, you're almost required to beat Goku before even going gold. You think he turns yellow to mock Super Saiyans? Nah, Frieza turned yellow because of all the cheese it takes to win this fight. With the combined powers of the Super Saiyan gods unable to best pure spite, Frieza is prepared to kill off the pair and finally get his revenge. That is, until Lord Beerus arrives, and requests Frieza leave them alive as he still has a use for them. Frieza, hoping the pea just blends into his golden skin, agrees to Beerus's demand, before requesting 2 conditions. Beerus cannot interfere with future Frieza Force business, and he's allowed to use the Dragon Balls to resurrect his entire army. Beerus agrees, and now Zarbon, Dodoria, the Ginyus, King Cold, and even Cooler are alive again, and Frieza is running roughshod over the entire universe. That is until Lord Beerus asks him to join the 7th Universe team and fight in the Tournament of Power. Frieza agrees to help. On the proviso, he gets to pick a teammate. From here, you get 4 different branching paths to go down, picking any one of the 4 options I just mentioned. Each one has their own unique paths, but if you want a quick mini-list, worst is Zarbon and Dodoria. You're just fighting the leftovers from the Tournament of Power, with a neat fight against Frost at the end. Next is Cooler. For being the only movie character to show up in any of the what-ifs, it could have been done a lot better than a single fight with Hit. Next is the Ginyu Force. Having them meet the Pride Troopers alone made it well worth bringing them. But you never get to fight as any of them or do any body-swapping shenanigans. Finally is King Cold as the best one. It's not because of King Cold, he's killed a few seconds after he shows up on screen. This route pits you against Kale and Caulifla, and the battle between Kefla and Golden Frieza at the end is one of the game's hardest, but also most fun. Each of these routes is, at least, a bit neat, but as a result, you get, at most, 2 fights per route, with the Zarbon Dodoria route and Cooler route only getting 1 each. This is a great idea in concept, but the gimmick of being able to pick any 4 of the different options meant each had to be kept brief. Still, I think Frieza was given more than a fair shake when it comes to his what-ifs, and I don't really know where they could have added one more. Except one, and I was begging for this one to be included when I saw how radical they were getting with the changes. Imagine this. Frieza gets cut in half on Namek, begs Goku off, Goku gives him a bit of energy, and flies away. Then the little wheel appears, and it says don't let that monkey escape, or beat a hasty retreat. I want what if Frieza accepted mercy. He'll still be reconstructed into Mecha Frieza, but have his men lose respect for him after he loses, and have Frieza lose respect for himself after losing for the first time. I don't know where you take it from there, maybe introduce Cooler, maybe have King Cold take the reins, but if it ends up with Golden Mecha Frieza, I'm all for it. Finally, we're on to the campaigns I have much less negative to say about, and it starts with Vegeta. Now, starting at the Namek Saga, I thought was an odd choice, but ending it at the Buu Saga is even stranger. You couldn't hold out for a few more arcs so we could see Vegeta defeat Golden Frieza without a Goku killsteal? Vegeta gets a few standard alternate endings leading into the Cell Saga, but it's after you blow 19 away that the changes really start to pile up. In this timeline, Vegeta's Super Saiyan evolution actually is all it's cracked up to be, and he's able to hold his own against the androids after they kill Dr. Gero. After that, he and Trunks step into the time chamber, where this becomes the funniest what-if story, because it's what if Vegeta had a better relationship with his son? The two begin training, and despite there being nothing else to catch his attention for miles, Vegeta somehow missed Trunks unlocking Super Saiyan Grade 3. The two then have a fight to gauge each other's power level, and Trunks debates on whether or not to show Vegeta the new transformation, as he doesn't know if his father's pride can handle it. If you deal enough damage to him quick enough, you can goad Trunks into the transformation, but you've gotta be really fast, and you'll know if you've lost when Trunks questions if he should even use the form at all. You can be stomping him into the dirt and digging ditches with his face, but if you don't get him down to that last health bar within seconds of the fight starting, he'll boot you out of the alternate timeline and back to the main story. If you do take him down quick enough, he'll pop Super Trunks. At which point Vegeta asks, "What the hell are you doing?" The pair bond over how inefficient Super Saiyan Grade 3 is, and elect to master Super Saiyan instead, while growing closer as father and son. When they get out and go to fight Cell, Vegeta is so much more confident that he actually lets Cell absorb Android 18 off the bat. And Trunks doesn't step in to stop it, since he believes Vegeta can handle things. Vegeta can obviously not handle things, but Cell is impressed with how many punches to the head he can take, and decides to hold the Cell games anyway. At the tournament, Vegeta is able to fight, but ultimately gets overwhelmed by Cell. Just as he's about to go down, Trunks jumps in the way of a killing blow and gets injured. And as if the developers were fulfilling individual prayers, they have this be the trigger for Vegeta to go Super Saiyan 2. It always annoyed me that Gohan watching Android 16 die triggered his change, but Vegeta seeing Trunks die? Nah, just a signature Vegeta getting his shit rocked moment. Here, though, the improved relationship between the two ends up being the difference maker. It all comes down to a final beam struggle, and just as Vegeta is set to go back to Hell, Trunks jumps in and they kill Cell with a father-son final flash. Oh man, this was a good what-if. The story they tell between Vegeta and Trunks not only makes for a great story, but feels exactly like something that could have happened in the canonical storyline if a few things changed. In terms of individual what-ifs, one of the best in the game. Vegeta's second what-if is in the Buu Saga, and is quite a bit more simple, as it's the choice to resist Babidi's mind control and never go Majin. As a result, Vegeta is able to kill both Dabura and Babidi, stopping Buu's resurrection altogether and ending the saga early. Goes to show that the Buu Saga only got as out of hand as it did because everybody is a moron. Now that Goku didn't waste the energy going Super Saiyan 3 to fight Majin Buu, he has enough time to stick around and fight Vegeta at the World Tournament. since it wasn't called off due to an unforecast mass murdering. Except because this is a martial arts tournament in a major city, neither of them can go Super Saiyan or fight at 100%. The fight that follows against Goku is fought without the ability to throw ki, use supers, or transform. I am dying for them to add this as a tournament in the game. This was one of the most fun fights I've ever had in Sparking Zero, and every move felt like it meant something. It was a total drag-out brawl, with Vegeta finally triumphing over Goku. Goku then reveals he had Super Saiyan 3 the whole time and really dwarfed Vegeta, but if you were feeling so big, you shoulda used it. The record books will always say Vegeta 3, Goku zilch. This what if definitely has less meat on its bones than the previous one, but if it gives Vegeta fans like me the chance to watch our favorite beat Goku, you'll be damn sure I'm not giving up the chance to see that. The only letdown really is I would have loved a chance to see a what if where Vegeta spares Nappa, but at this point, speculating is a lot less important since the stories have gotten so good. Finally, it's Goku's turn, and unsurprisingly, he's got a whopping 3 stories to everybody else's 2 and 1. Except the distribution of those stories is a tad bit weighted. See, 2 of Goku's 3, and the 2 far more expansive ones, mind you, come from the same nexus point. And that's the choice to either go with Piccolo or Krillin to go fight Raditz. Let's start with the canonical non-canonical route. If you go to the fight with Piccolo and beat Raditz before time runs out, you'll get a scene where Goku dodges the special beam cannon and, instead of dying, survives the fight with Raditz. This leaves him alive to train with the others for the year until the Saiyan invasion. The second Goku pops out for some sensu beans, though, the entire party starts getting beaten senseless by the Cybermen because they somehow got here early. Goku arrives back and saves Yamcha, as now we get a Goku who never got King Kai's training versus Nappa. And it doesn't go well. Goku is badly beaten and only saved from the brink of death by Piccolo giving his own life to distract Nappa long enough for Goku to eat a sensu bean. Goku gets a Zenkai boost from nearly dying and is able to wipe the floor with Nappa before turning his attention to Vegeta. The two are able to fight on even footing until Vegeta busts out his Great Ape form. And from there, it's not long before Goku's put down again. He gets a sensu bean from Chaozu, but just like before, the only reason Vegeta didn't finish him off was because he was busy killing Tien and Krillin. The rage of seeing his friends killed in front of him rather than simply showing up to witness the aftermath is enough to push Goku past the brink, giving him enough power to transform into a Super Saiyan, way before he was ever supposed to. From there, defeating Vegeta is trivial, and he sends him packing. As much as I would have loved to see the Namek team now be Bulma, Yamcha, and Chaozu, Goku simply elects to go to Namek by himself. Except the Frieza Force members there are scattered and in minuscule numbers. No Zarbon, no Dodoria, no Frieza. Somebody's been killing them already, and after Goku beats 2 of them, the culprit reveals himself. It's Vegeta, who also gained the powers of a Super Saiyan, killed Frieza, and is now back to finish his fight with Goku. The two fight again, but it's clear Goku still has the upper hand. Goku manages to beat Vegeta, and lets him go so the two can fight again sometime, and get stronger. Of the 3 Goku what-ifs, this is easily my least favorite. The visual of Goku going Super Saiyan in the Saiyan Saga is amazing, don't get it twisted, but a lot of the story feels a little half-baked. Goku's Zenkai boost after losing to Nappa being equal to a year of King Kai's training, Goku letting Vegeta go after he killed Krillin, Saiyan Saga Vegeta, even as a Super Saiyan, being anything to Frieza? It just doesn't make that much sense. It's not bad, but compared to the other route, it's a far cry from what it could have been. If you take Krillin with you instead and win the fight with Raditz in time, the Z Fighters say, screw fairness, and jump Raditz all at once with Gohan, Krillin, Master Roshi of all people, and Piccolo finishing off the Saiyan Invader. Just like before, Goku trains with the other Z fighters, but lets Piccolo take a larger role in training Gohan. And then there's a fun portion that lets you pick which of the Z fighters you want to train against. I've been looking for an excuse to wipe this Yakubian demon out for years, and you guys just gave me the chance. Finally, Earth is safe from evil. The Saiyans finally arrive, and after wiping out the Cybermen and Nappa, there are enough strong people left that Vegeta is going up not just against Goku, but Piccolo and Tien all at once. Unwise to give me the chance to make my dreams come true. Did you think it wasn't Tien time? Newsflash, buddy, it's always Tien time. After Tien packs and smokes this bum Saiyan, he transforms again. Except this time, with all the Z fighters accounted for, Krillin re-enters the fight with a plan, blinding Vegeta with a triple solar flare before cutting his tail off, and then finishing him off with a 6-way beam attack. Even Chaozu gets to help, this 38-year-old man. Vegeta, who in the Saiyan saga is unkillable, survives this, and then Piccolo misses a special beam cannon and fatally wounds Goku. Goku, what the hell? Last time I shot you there, you were fine! Goku uses the last of his energy to finish Vegeta off and save Gohan, and tells Krillin to leave Vegeta alone. And the only casualty of the Saiyan saga is Goku. This thankfully gives Goku the chance to train with King Kai, as the scenario is only getting started. Yeah, Goku is resurrected, but before he leaves King Kai's planet, he's warned that Vegeta is on his way back. It turns out that Frieza also heard the Saiyans talk about the Dragon Balls over their scouters, and is leading his army to Earth to take them. Vegeta forms an uneasy alliance with the Z fighters as one by one, you have to fight Frieza's forces, including a 5-man endurance fight against the Ginyus, including a fight against a body-swapped Vegeta. Once he gets his body back, Vegeta distracts Frieza long enough for Goku to charge up a massive Spirit Bomb. And after one last distraction from Piccolo and Gohan, Goku launches the bomb, and the Z fighters successfully repel Frieza and save the Earth. Without Goku unlocking Super Saiyan, without Vegeta joining the gang and remaining a villain. The sheer scope of this one is enough to make it feel really special. I love the what-ifs that span multiple arcs and show the ramifications of your actions, and this one is the best at it. This saga makes all the Z fighters, from Piccolo to Chaozu to even Master Roshi, feel important, and gives us a version of the Saiyan saga that feels much more like the group tackling the invasion rather than just Goku. It's totally fresh and completely unique. I love this interpretation. The Frieza half of the story is a little gauntlet-y, just fighting waves of bad guys, but like the Super Saiyan fight in the last What If, the visual of Goku meeting fighters he had never met before, like Zarbon, Dodoria, and Guldo, is exciting enough to make it just as fun as the first half. If we were rating individual what-ifs, there are very few that could beat this one. As for Goku's final what-if, it's hard to tell if it should even count since it's technically not a sparking episode like the rest, but it's much beefier than the usual wall of text that you get for an alternate ending. In this What If, instead of waiting until Tien and Piccolo are defeated by semi-perfect Cell, Goku cuts in when he's still imperfect, and with the help of the main character, actually kills Cell early. This leaves a healthy, powerful Goku in front of the androids, and gives us a fight we never got to see until Super. Goku fighting the androids built to kill Goku. The closest they got to seeing him before was the front door of Kame House. Goku beats 17 and 18, who enjoy the fight so much they plan on giving up the whole killing Goku shtick. But meanwhile, 16 doesn't have the free will they do, and insists on trying to kill Goku. He's unsuccessful, but 18 asks, if you want to kill Goku so bad, why not blow yourself up? 16 tells them it's because he didn't want to hurt the local wildlife, and realizes he has the ability to choose for himself. The three leave in peace, and the Cell saga ends before Cell can absorb a single android. This one is super duper short, but at the same time is fun as hell. just for the chance to see earlier versions of 17 and 18 get their fill of violence just from fighting Goku. Goes to show just how bad Trunks got screwed over by that stupid heart virus. Alright, number 1 is gonna be pretty obvious when you find out who's next, but know that the space separating these two is razor thin. And depending on how I feel at a given time, it might swap. But the second best what-ifs in the game belong to Trunks. Now, if Trunks didn't have a stellar what-if story, he'd have the second worst campaign in the game. Because like Goku Black, all of his fights are in the Goku Black saga. Which means he has the exact same problems that he does, which is a minuscule pool of potential opponents. However, alongside alternate endings where you successfully seal Zamasu and deal with Black, the end of the saga presents you with the option to either return to your own time, or stick around to train a little longer. If you just so happen to pick this route, and if you don't, the entire campaign just ends, you get a fight against Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan. And if you clear that one fast enough, Trunks is selected as the 10th member of Universe 7's team instead of Frieza. Already, I couldn't love it anymore if I tried. I mentioned I loved what-ifs that span multiple sagas, and with this being the final arc of Super, letting Trunks hang around makes for a super interesting story to tell. Once the tournament begins, you get two choices. Stick with Gohan and follow the plan he made to stay in a group, or run off with Vegeta to fight indiscriminately. And the best part? One path isn't better than the other. Both offer tons of unique and interesting fights, and give you loads to do and interact with. The Gohan route starts with Trunks and Gohan working together to try to stop Kale's rampaging, but the blowback of Jiren's attack separates the two of them as Trunks is flanked by Dispo and Toppo. Then, of all of his teammates, who makes the save and rescues Trunks from a swift elimination? Androids 17 and 18. The two monsters that caused Trunks to flee to the past and started all of this are now reformed and saving Trunks. The what if could have made it this far based purely on the strength of this concept. I love this interaction, and it makes me so happy they decided to keep him around for the tournament. Except instead of just giving us a taste, they keep piling it on, with 18 taking out Dispo alongside herself, as Trunks fills the Frieza role from the original tournament and fights Jiren alongside 17 while Goku recovers. Then 17 sacrifices himself to take out Jiren, except no he doesn't, okay that part wasn't as good. But the story ends with 17 being the one to wave goodbye to Trunks as he returns to the future. And it's an amazing capstone to a scenario I loved. And that's only one route. While the Vegeta one is shorter, it does include plenty of great moments, like fighting all the Universe 6 Saiyans, and Vegeta confiding in Trunks his wish to bring back all the universes that get erased. The story ends with a double father-son team-up of Trunks and Vegeta fighting Toppo, while Gohan and Goku take on Jiren. It ends with a beautifully animated cutscene, with Trunks finishing off Toppo with a Heat Dome attack, and winning the tournament. Both of these routes are absolute gold, and that's not even going into the smaller details, like how weapons were banned in the Tournament of Power, so Trunks doesn't get his sword and swaps to the Heat Dome attack for a finisher, or how Trunks has direct conflict with Jiren since they share a wish to bring back their fallen masters. It's just so many small moments that culminate in this feeling less like an alternate take on the tournament, but an improvement. I'm honestly sad we don't have a Trunks cut of the tournament outside this game, but I am really glad we got it in some form anyway. And as for number 1, it could only ever be him. Really, we already went through the other 7, he's the only one left. Gohan. Now, cards on the table, I'm not a massive Gohan fan. I like Gohan, I think he's cool. But some people really like Gohan, and unfortunately for the rest of us, those people are now game developers working at Spike Chunsoft, because they gave Gohan the best what-if story in the game. While there's really only one what-if, special shoutouts to the choice where Gohan can attack Spopovich at the tournament. It doesn't really change the story, but if you've seen the original scene, especially in the anime, this isn't a choice, it's divine retribution. Gohan's What If begins, of all places, in the Resurrection F arc, where Frieza arrives to Earth before Goku and Vegeta, which leaves Gohan to defend the planet. In the original movie, this is an embarrassment that would give most characters a twitch. And frankly, Gohan takes a long time to recover from this. In the anime version, it's even worse, but thankfully there are plenty of other reasons to say Super starts at the Destroyer Tournament saga, so you can just ignore it. Here, however, clad in the worst costume he would ever have, Gohan locks in, clutches up, and thugs it out like nobody could have expected him to. He pushes Frieza to transform into his final form, and then pushes him even further to his brand new golden form, popping it before either of the Super Saiyan gods arrive. That's when Frieza makes the mistake of targeting Piccolo, Trunks, and Goten, and in defending them, Gohan manages to get back his fighting instinct and unlock his ultimate form again, and with the power boost, defeat Frieza and piss off an entire theater who are wondering why they even bought a ticket to a movie that doesn't have Goku or Vegeta in it. Years later, they would do that on purpose. Gohan is born again by this brush with death and pursues his training much more seriously, even getting into the Destroyer Tournament and fighting Hit in Goku's place. This fight makes Gohan famous across the multiverse for surviving a fight with Hit, which Gohan finds more embarrassing than anything. One day though, while sparring with Goten and Trunks, future Trunks falls from the sky unconscious, and when he wakes up, he starts trying to kill Gohan. Gohan's able to snap him out of it, but when he finally starts talking sense, the two feel a massive and familiar power appear in town.
It's him! Is that me?
The Goku Black saga has been altered so that Zamasu decided it would be better to steal Gohan's body over Goku's. And now the pair of them are terrorizing Trunks' future, and it's up to Goku, Vegeta, and now Gohan to stop them. This one change is massive. I couldn't believe it when I first saw it! Before the game launched. Not only does this serve as a massive twist on the pre-established story, but it also changes so much about how the saga would unfold. Goku's hesitation to fight Gohan with the intent to kill, Trunks being tortured by the image of his fallen master, now trying to kill him, and that's not even going into the conflict Zamasu would have with Gohan personally. This is a mortal who had his powers unlocked by a Kai, the ultimate insult to appropriate a sacred Kai technique for his own gain. The fights as well are much fewer than in other Goku Black Saga playthroughs, and just being able to see Gohan Black is spectacular enough that it makes them all worth playing. We've seen Gohan Blanco, it's time for Gohan Negro. The saga keeps undergoing changes in little ways that make it a joy to play through. Watching Piccolo pass down the evil containment wave to his #1 student, Gohan Black using the ultimate form, which maybe the hair changing color actually is important. Merged Zamasu having Gohan's hairstyle instead of Goku's. You can feel the love for Gohan pouring out of the screen with every fight in this What If. It even ends perfectly, with Gohan and Trunks teaming up, using the evil containment wave to seal the deal, instead of just introducing it as a concept before immediately getting rid of it like in the original story. 3 generations of master and student working together to topple a god. And Gohan even closes out by repeating Piccolo's lesson to Trunks, passing it on. Gohan was treated like royalty in Sparking Zero, and there shouldn't even be a question that this is one of the best what-ifs in any Dragon Ball game. Sparking Zero made me feel excited about Dragon Ball in a way I haven't been since Battle of Gods premiered. I adore everything about this game, flaws and all. I couldn't possibly ask for any more with the over 180 characters we already have, but with more on the way, I guess I could be a little greedy. New characters are already locked in. New stages? Possibly. Where is the lookout? But I'm begging for more story modes and more what-ifs. What if Boo was allowed to participate in the Tournament of Power? What if Broly was found much earlier? What if Baby infected Goku Black? The floodgates are truly open on what can be done with new what-ifs, and I can't wait to be swept up in it.